Hey guys, welcome back to Bow Freaks Outdoors. It's Daryl. We're here in the great garage. We got a couple different things going right now. We're about 3 weeks away from the opener of the Missouri 2024 turkey season. So I want to go over a couple things with you, talk about a couple scenario setups. We're going to talk about a little bit of decoys, how we set them up, what we use, and we're going to talk about a couple different things. First on the list, I'll zoom in on that. Bean Creek game calls, guys. Great calls. Get a hold of Lucas and Randy. These are some of the best calls. You heard me playing with it before the video started. Unbelievable. This is a acrylic slate over aluminum. My favorite call. I love a slate call. A lot of guys are box call guys, mouth calls. I use a lot of mouth calls. You know, if we're running and gunning, mouth calls are the way to go, obviously, because you can do a couple different things and they're easier to pack around, a lot less movement. You know, you're just using your mouth and throwing some sound out there. If we got a bird coming in and we're set up, again, even when we're running and gunning, I still like to pick up my slate. I can throw some sound with it. Blind calling, this is my primary call right here. I'll have a mouth call in a lot of times and I'll be throwing double sounds. I could sound like a couple different turkeys. But for me, the slate call, if I'm able to, this is it. This is the call I use. You can see down here on the bottom, it's got a cutout right here for sound. Unbelievable. Now that sounds pretty good, and I know I've got a camera with a microphone and I'm in an enclosed area. That's pretty loud. But the one I've been playing with that you've been hearing is aluminum on the back. Making a lot of different sounds with it. So that's with Bean Creek. Not only that, but they do have several different mouth calls. Lucas and Randy down there, these things are handmade. I've got several. I think I keep about 6 or 7 different calls from them in my bag. I've got them right here. These things are amazing. Different cuts, different sounds, different pressures. Also in my bag, I have a goblin tube for a jake. You know, if I got a bird out there hanging up and he's not, this is for later in the season. You know, a lot of times, you know, you only have a jake out there and he can see it, but you know, you're calling as a hen with your other decoy out there. So that's something we're going to talk about now. Crow call. Crow call is my favorite locator. I love throwing it in the morning right after the sun comes up. And I don't try to do any calling until the birds fly down. I don't like to do a lot of limb talk or anything like that. So about the time the sun comes up and the birds, you know, your songbirds, your robins, your blue jays and stuff like that, once they start talking and playing and there's some noise out there, everything's coming alive. Then, you know, I'll try to throw a short crow call out there, get the other birds to wake up, maybe even get a crow to answer me. A lot of times that one there, you know, we'll get them going. A lot of guys use an owl hoot. Not really something I've ever really used. Running and gunning, crow call, first thing in the morning, whatever, even in the evening. But I've got a goblin tube that I use, you know, because there's a lot of times they can't see, maybe they're coming from a direction they can't see my hen. So they can see my little strutting jake that I use. So I'll do my little strutter call out there and I'll give them a quick shake on that. It's not very loud, not very aggressive, but a lot of times it'll be just enough. The other thing I want to talk about, decoy placement. Decoy placement is huge for us because a lot of times, and I can show you here because I've got them out here, I've been setting them up. We have a half strut. It's a jake decoy. Very cool print on his head. Very colorful. This is a redhead full body jake. We put a real fan on him. We've taken away the fake fan that they give you with it. We put a real fan on it. It's just got more detail to it. I wish I had him set up in here. So I use the Avion X Factor decoy motor. So he sits up in the thing, and what I try to do is I try to set this decoy facing where I know the birds are going to be coming from, or where I think they're going to be coming from. Because I want him to see this. I want him to see this strutter's head, because it's pretty colorful. So that's what the turkey's going to see when he comes in, and he's going to recognize that, and that's what he's going to come into. The other thing is too, this thing will move in the wind if you got a wind blowing, which is big thing. You want a little bit of movement, not a lot, but some, to keep the birds interested. So if that thing's just sitting there still, he's not going to notice it. But if that thing's moving in the wind, it's going to make a difference. So with the Avion X Factor, it's a little ground motor that sits up, runs off a remote, and your bird will literally turn in place. I like to use it because if I set my decoys up, and I try to set them up a little bit different, you know, everybody's different. What I'm telling you is not going to work every time. It may work every time. Early in the season, we are a 1 hen and a strutting decoy. Second week of season, may change a little bit. Birds have done a lot more, been fighting, been pecking orders, been made. Things have changed. You may just go to a single hen decoy. But the kicker is, if you're going to do this, you want this to be facing where you think the birds are coming from. Now with my X Factor, if this thing is facing a certain direction and I notice that the birds are coming, I can turn the decoy. I may not be able to get him all the way around, but I can turn the decoy to get a side view to where he can see the face and see the structure. And then a lot of times what I'll do, if he commits, like he's going to go ahead and come in, I'll work that bird back and forth. Normally I have a hen decoy out there. So with that being said, a lot of times I'll use a standing hen, or what they call a breeder hen. A breeder hen is going to be fairly small, head tucked in. She's going to look something like that. Okay? This is a really cool small body, not very big, a lot of good color in her. I'm going to show you the head on this. Okay? This is the breeder hen from Flextone. Love this thing. Pretty cool. This first year I'm going to have this one here that I'm going to use. Really excited about it because I needed something a little different. Use foam, fold away decoys forever. A lot of success. But this year I wanted something different. I've always had a strutting Jake, but this year we went with a little bit different one. Got a little bit more color features to him. Still going to use the same reel fan. If you'll notice the video I played up from our 2023 season with Mark and I on opening day, you know, we had 3 big gobblers come in that morning, right into the decoy. They jumped on it. They did a things. I mean, they came right to it. Now, with that being said, again, remember what I said. I want to face the strutter in the direction I think the birds are going to come from. Now, on the other side of that is, I'm going to use a hen decoy with him as well. Now, if you've ever been out in the woods and you've watched turkeys strut around hens, they don't come right up and strut with it right up against them. They usually stand back about 15, 20 yards, and they're strutting. You know, they're all fanned out trying to do their thing, and they're trying to display. So what you want to do is you want to set your scenario up that mimics what you can see. Spend time in the woods, learn what you're doing, see what your birds are doing. Everything's going to be different for everybody in each individual situation. The other thing is too, I want about, I don't know, probably a 25 to 30 degree angle on my setup. So if I'm in a blind, I'm going to set my decoys up to the left or to the right of center. That way I can be able to be comfortable in my movement and set it up to where the birds are going to be coming in at me on an angle, not straight in. Because if you're straight in front of you, then you're in that bird's line of sight, and that's a bad thing. You don't want to have any kind of view on that bird. So if you get him to the left or to the right, on whichever way you're comfortable, then you're going to probably have more success sometimes. Now, there are certain instances where that bird's going to come straight in. You can't do nothing about it. But with that being said, placement of the turkeys. I try to put my hen and my strutting Jake probably 5 or 6 feet apart. So if my Jake is facing to my right, then I'm going to have the hen 5 or 6 feet in front of him at a little bit of a slight angle. So I'm just going to have her turned where they're coming together. That's the way I set them up. Now, again, is that going to be perfect every time? No. The birds can circle around you. They can come off a ridge. They can work a ridge line. It's all going to be different. So, each situation is going to be different. So, if what you have in your style works, then do it. The other thing is, if you are using a lone hen decoy, a lot of times guys will be calling as a hen. Well, if you get a bird that comes in and he sees you, but he's out there at 115, 120 yards, and all of a sudden he's not coming in, and you throw a gobble out there, and he runs and he puts and disappears, a lot of times that's because you threw a gobble out there and all he could see was the hen. So it may not be the fact that your setup didn't work, but you made a sound and he wasn't recognizing what was around there to go with it. So check your scenario, watch your animals, watch your birds, see what they're doing. Again, for everybody it's going to be different. Each setup is different. Early in the season, we like to set them blind. We've got a couple farms that we hunt on. We kind of know where the birds come every day. We go out the night before, we'll put the birds to roost. What that means is we go out and we throw some calls out right at about the time that they're going to fly up into the tree for the evening. We get a location where they're at. Now we kind of know in the next morning of where they're going to be. Now there's a couple things that will change that. Coons get in trees, bobcats, coyotes, a storm. If you get a thunderstorm the night before, things can change, birds can move, fly out, go up into another set of trees. With that being said, you're going to have to change your setup on the fly. So just being prepared, trying different things. Again, what I'm telling you that we use, you can see it in our videos of our setup. In the one video we have the birds to the left of our blind setup facing away from us. Okay, well, the bird was right real close. Instead of being over to the south like he was supposed to be, he was more right on top of us, and he pitched right down in behind the decoy. Well, when he did that, we had other hens in the field, and he was able to see what our setup was. When that our setup wasn't no good, he already seen it. We didn't have the movement in the decoys at the time, and he went with the hens that was moving. So again, each scenario is going to be different. If you don't have the opportunity, get a hold of Bean Creek. Give them a call. Their calls are unbelievable. Again, like I said, my favorite call that they have, and I've always enjoyed using the slate call because I can purr on it. I can do a fight scratch run. I can putt, chirp, everything. I just love it. So the other thing is too, you're going to notice on us, we do a lot of archery. But now you're going to see early in the season, I like to smack turkeys in the face with a 12 gauge just as much as the next guy. So early season we will be shotgun hunting. I'm hoping to get out with Steve. My daughter's hoping to come out with me, which I would love. I'm going to sit behind the camera, but I'm hoping to get a couple chances myself. Now as the season goes on, we switch to archery. Now when we go to archery, that changes things a little bit. Now we do primarily all of our archery hunting out of a ground blind. Just because concealment, there's a lot more movement. With the shotgun, you're in one position, may have to slight move one way or the other. It's a lot different when you're in a tree or a blind, per se, because then you got to get the bow, you got to get in position, you're drawing the bow, so there's a lot of movement. So we'll spend a lot of time in a ground blind and just sit there. We'll still have a decoy set up depending on the situation or how late in the season that it is. This year we got a couple different options. We are back again with a great sponsor in Grim Reaper broadheads. So for me, when it comes to turkey, I don't use anything different than what I do when I'm deer hunting. There's going to be the big 2.5 inch cut, which looks like a turkey head. That's the whitetail special. 100 grains, Grim Reaper. I killed a turkey first part of November in 2023. I killed a turkey out of a ground blind one evening. It started misting rain, dropped out of my stand, sat in the blind. Turkeys came in. I was able to take a turkey with my bow. Same broadhead that I deer hunt with. Just remember, turkey can't fly if they can't run. So if most guys try to get a headshot. Headshots are minuscule, hard to get. Turkeys are small vital organs, you know, like the size of my fist. Every organ in a turkey can fit in a sack about the size of my fist and is positioned really, really tight up high in the chest. So to hit a vital organ is really tough. If you can't get a headshot, let the turkey turn sideways to you. If you can aim down with a bow, okay, with a big cut, and shoot that turkey through the upper side of the hips, you're going to have to be quick because the turkey can't run. At that point, his legs are damaged, he's down. He's going to be flopping, he's going to be trying to get up. But because the turkey can't run, he can't fly. He can't take off into flight. So that may help you out if you have that scenario. Again, shoot a turkey through the legs, get up, get out, and get a hold of him, get on his head. Again, face-on shot, you want to put it right at the bottom, you know, between where the beard comes out and what they call the wattle, which is the dark red spot on the bottom of the head. Right behind that cavity right there, that's where the organs are. So if a turkey's coming straight at you, you don't have to make a headshot. You do not have to make a headshot. So where the beard comes out and the wattle, if you put the target right here, if you shoot a turkey right here through the straight as he's coming at you, put it right here underneath the wattle, you're going to have a good chance of hitting vital organs. So again, hope something on here helps you guys. Everything we do is different. 2024 is going to be a big year for us. We've got a lot of new sponsors coming in, so I'd like to bring, you know, attention to that. Again, we're back with Grim Reaper. Love Grim Reaper. Bow Freaks Archery down there in Mount Vernon. Shannon and those guys are great. Happy to be part of what they're doing down there. A couple of our new ones are going to be Dead Downwind this year. Big product coming out. Tinks, we're going to be carrying some of those. Rack Daddy Minerals, Dalton and those guys are great. B&D's Custom Mounts. We got another new sponsor, BAP Archery Products. Barker and those guys are unbelievable. We actually have a new vise coming. We're excited. We've got one ordered. So most of our sponsors are carrying over. We got some new sponsors coming in. Turkey season's coming up, guys. Stay with us. And Bow Freaks Outdoors will be back to you.